Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about adding images to our website layout. Now the first thing I want to mention before you think I totally have disintegrated my last thought for the design of my layout is I chose to modify my web layout to fit requirements of an instructional website. So in web design, it is very natural to have to modify layout to fit content appropriately for the design and legibility of the viewer. Um, so let me just show you my new layout. And like I said, it was modified to fit requirements for an instructional site. So the first thing in this screencast that I want to show you is how to create and insert video thumbnails for our video boxes floating on the right side of our textual content. Now, it is important to not just create a video box at a random size. A typical size for this type of design is 133 pixels by 75 pixels. It's pretty important, and it's a really good size for a layout that doesn't want to draw so much attention to, but it's still noticeable. Also with ratios of video sizes. So that's a really good size for that. Now, just because we're on our layout page, let's pick two of our, well, first we're going to take some screenshots of our slides that we create. So I'm going to go to my sketching layout, and this is a slide from the sketching layout, and I need to take a screenshot. Now I'm not quite sure on a PC on what it is to take a screenshot. I'm working on a Mac at the moment, and if you have a Mac, it is Command Shift 4, and this little cross with the circle in the middle kind of comes up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click and drag, and it's going to make a sound. Okay. And then my other one is right here, and I'm going to push Command Shift 4, and again drag, and there we go. So now we have two screenshots. Let me just bring them up so you can see. There we go. So here's our screenshots. So we got that one and that one. Pretty cool. Alright, so now how do we create our thumbnails? I mean, we can't just insert that image. It's a huge image, and it's not going to fit correctly into our boxes. So now we need to do something that Illustrator does not do. We're going to use photo editing software. For most cases, people would use Photoshop, but there's actually this great program online, and it's free to use, and it's called Pixlr.com. And it's such a neat program. So I'm gonna just open my image from my computer, which was our screenshots, and I'm gonna open the first one, which was that one, and then I'm gonna what's important for this to make it so simple is our constraint. We want to, it might be on no restriction, but we want it to be output size so we can control the size. And we're going to put the width at 133 like we talked about before, and the height at 75. Now when we have our crop tool selected, when we drag, it's kind of like a fixed kind of drag. So it's really neat, very neat. And then you know, you just drag it to where you want it, and I'll have it right there. I just double clicked it, and now I believe that was it. Yeah, I just double clicked it, and I'm going to go to File, Save, and I'm going to name this thumbnail underscore 1. It's going to save as a PNG, which is totally fine, or maybe a JPEG, but a PNG is a really good file. So there, we're going to save it to my computer. I'm going to replace it. Okay, so there's our first thumbnail. Now let's open our second thumbnail. Just right here. I'm just going to drag this out a little bit. It's just such a neat program. It's amazing that it's free. Okay, and then, oops. So let me do it again. There we go. Kind of drag to where I want it. Double click. Perfect. Then I'll go File, Save, and this is going to be thumbnail underscore 2, and save to my computer. Looks good to me. Okay, now we're going to go back into Illustrator, and we're going to create a new document. And we, if the units are in inches, switch it to pixels. And our width of our artboard is going to be 135 pixels by 70 pixels. And might as well just name this document right now. And we're going to name this thumbnail underscore 1. Okay. So here's our artboard, which is the exact dimensions of our thumbnails that we've just created. So now I'm going to place our first thumbnail in here. Thumbnail 1. And then to, oops. There we go. Not quite sure why it's not absolutely correct, but it will do. Okay. So this is our actual size of the thumbnail. It's pretty small, but you know, we don't really need it to be so perfect. It's going to be small. So there's our thumbnail. If we zoom in, it's really pixelated. Don't worry about that. And now I want to create kind of a play button to go on this so people know that it's a video, so click on it. It's not just a little pixelated image. So what I'm going to do is, in order to create my play button, I'm going to turn my grid on, if I can. Let me go View, Show Grid. There we go. And then I'm going to go View, Snap to Grid. Now I'm just going to move on over here, and I'm going to use my pen tool. Click there, click there, right here, and end it there. So there's our little rectangle shape. Now, I think I pretty much, you know, I think I want a sort of rounded rectangle. Now, I'm going to turn the grid off so it doesn't do it anymore. So I'm going to create, and let me turn this snap off. There we go. I'm going to create a sort of rounded, cornered rectangle. This is neat. So if I go to my graphic style, push rounded corner, and I want this to be a little kind of subtle gray. So yeah, so there it is. I'm gonna just lower this a little bit. It doesn't have to be that big. I'm gonna center it. My line options. And then here's my play button. We don't want it that big either. I'm going to bring this to the front. And I'm going to center it right in this right here. And it's going to have to go over a little bit. Okay. Let me make this a little smaller. There. Looks much, much better. Now, I'm going to group this. Or you know, I'm going to ungroup it. I'm going to lower the opacity on the background. Just a tad. There we go. And our white, I'm going to turn it to a gray. Maybe. Or maybe I'll just leave it at a light gray. And for this background, you know, it kind of blends in a lot with the already background of this. So I'm going to give it a little effect. And I'm going to give it a little drop shadow. So in order to do that, we're not in Photoshop, we're in Illustrator. In order to do that, I'm going to go to Effect, Stylize, Drop Shadow. And the opacity, I'm going to bring it down to 30. And I just want it to go up a little bit, so I'll do the offset to 1 pixel. And there's our little drop shadow. And I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to higher this opacity just a little bit. And group this now. And make this just a little smaller. I'm going to lower the opacity. It needs to be lower. Okay, there we go. Okay, perfect. Nice. So we're going to save this. And it's important for us to create our documents, our thumbnails as our documents, because we're going to be coming back to these and referring to them and probably modifying them. But you know, this is what we want. We want to make our thumbnails as files. We just don't want to create it on the side and hope it's there when we open our file. It's very important to create our thumbnails in different files. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our file, and whoops, wrong one. I'm going to go paste, and for some reason I do not know why that's bigger. But for now, I'm going to solve the problem with the next thumbnail. Alright, so there is our little thumbnail. It looks pretty legit. Okay, so now let's go to our other thumbnail. And right now, you know, I'm just going to duplicate this artboard. I'm going to use the same file right now. And I'm just going to duplicate the artboard. I'm going to make sure this artboard is correct dimensions. Oh, that's it. That's why. It's 135 by 70, but I just changed it to 75. We want it 135 by 75. So that was... No. I take it back. We want it 133 by 75. There is our correct dimension. Let me just double check. There we go. Alright. So there's our dimension. Now let's do the same thing. Let's place our thumbnail number 2 to our artboard. And it fits perfect. It fits perfect. And I'm just going to hold Alt, drag this down, bring the object to front, copy this, paste, and it fits perfect. Alright, so there's our videos right there. Now, if you go on to the next video, I'm going to finish up talking about our logo and some content we're going to put right over here. So, continue on to the next video. Thanks.